I'm getting my ducks in a row. I don't even know what that means because I don't know where my ducks are. Hi, I'm Carole Podell, and this is She Takes the Lead. Hi, party people. It's Carole. I hope you're enjoying your day. We're in Denver, me and my kid. We're visiting one of my best friends who moved here a couple of years ago, and we never got the chance to visit because, well, we were supposed to go last year, but I was in a job and I couldn't get away. So we had to cancel the trip. So we're here this year, and it's been really nice to just see. I've never been to Denver. I've been to Denver once, actually. When I moved to California, I drove and our car broke down 45 minutes outside of Denver. And we got it fixed in Denver, and then it broke down 45 minutes after we left Denver. And I, at the time, didn't really want to ever see Denver again. But, you know, when your bestie moves here, you want to see it. And I'm so glad because it's gorgeous and lovely, and her life here is beautiful. And the skyline is extraordinary. The sky is amazing. The way the clouds form or don't form, sort of, is that they look like a painting. Like it looks like it's been drawn on with strokes. And yesterday we watched the sunset. You can see the sunset from her balcony, and it was so beautiful. It looked like heaven, in what heaven would look like in my mind. Like literally the way they draw heaven, somebody must have been in Denver when that image was conjured, because it really just looks like, it doesn't even look like clouds anymore. I wanted to talk about something, the whole process of being here. And the Democratic National Convention is happening this week. I watched Michelle Obama the other day, and it doesn't really matter what your politics is. The message was fantastic. You know, basically she was saying, if you're upset, do something. You know, if you want to change something, you have to get up off your couch and do something. And it was so great. I really firmly believe this. I'm very much an action-oriented person. Like, my least favorite phrase ever in existence is get your ducks in a row. I'm getting my ducks in a row. I don't even know what that means because I don't know where my ducks are. Like, I don't know if I had ducks. Some of my ducks are dogs. Some of my ducks are cats. You know, some of my ducks are a kid running around. I have no idea how to get my ducks in a row. And I don't even know really what a life would look like if I had my ducks in a row. I don't think anybody really has their ducks in a row. I mean, yes, I have preparation. I work very hard. I know how to keep things moving, but getting my ducks in a row, for me, always just represented holding off doing something that you could start today. And I think at some point in my life, I just decided I was going to take action. And I kind of do. And once I get my mind set around something, I'm very, very bulldozy around just doing it. And she talked about this in such a way that was like, it was really inspiring, and it could be applied to anything. Like, you want to make change, do something. The thing is that, at least for me, you know, doing something is not always easy, or it doesn't always seem easy. And I don't mean easy like it should be easy. I just mean one step can be a lot if you're not used to taking steps that quickly or that irreverently. They can be scary. They can be hard. You know, I know a lot of people, myself included, suffer from depression and some degree of anxiety, or, you know, some kind of mental health issue that may stop them from being able to take that step and being able to do something. So I was thinking about it, and I've sort of developed a lot of tools and accommodations and coping mechanisms to be able to get up and do something without having it be a Herculean effort every time. And so we were watching this sunset, and I'm very big on imagination. I really want my daughter to have as vivid of an imagination as she can. I think it's so crucial to envisioning your life in another way. It's so crucial to living a life. I mean, it's obviously crucial to living your life as an artist, and we will see. She definitely has an artistic eye, but, you know, I don't know. And if she's not an artist per se, that's fine. But I want her to be able to have an imagination. Science requires an imagination. Everything requires an imagination. And I do think that being able to wrap your mind and your imagination around a life that you want helps you achieve a life that is beyond what you're imagining, ironically. Because you can say in 5 years, I want it to look like this. In 10 years, I want it to look like this. In 40 years, I want it to look like this. And at least then you have kind of a vision or an understanding in your body that you can have a different life and that you are empowered to move your life in the direction that you want it to go in. Now, life happens, as we always know, as we always talk about, left turns come in, but you can still move it in the direction that you want. You can find the happiness and the joy in the things that aren't necessarily executed the way that you envision them. So I love organizing. I love fixing things. I love sort of finding the solutions, but really tangibly. And that was one of the things that I loved about production and producing. And I found it in finance. So there definitely, and I get that same rush that I did in production in finance, but finance supported my life the way I wanted it to look more. And that was a big revelation for me and a big moment of strength of me to go, you know what, this isn't my compromise. I don't have to compromise that. I may have to compromise where it is or what it looks like, but I'm not. But the compromise is really because I have another dream I want to achieve. And that dream requires this, not that. So if I still can get the charge and the experience and the joy from what I'm doing, while also being able to pursue a dream that's so important to me, then my life is happy and I'm fulfilled. We were watching this sunset the other day, and it was really extraordinary. It was like pinks and oranges, and it was like, so where we are is it's in a place called Central Park in Denver, and it's like all the homes and apartments here are quite short, so that it's, I guess, a law so that you can see the view. And so we have this beautiful view of the mountains over top the homes, and then above it you see, like, the first day I woke up and it was blue, just entirely blue, and a low full moon, when it's like translucent, and it's morning, so you can see the moon, but it's just translucent and so beautiful. And so it's setting, it almost looks like a reflection of itself. And at night we saw this beautiful pink. It was like you could see it was, the clouds were coming in, but the clouds in Denver are not the same like puffy clouds that I've seen in the East, really, or in the West, frankly. But they're like strokes almost, over top the mountains. And in this case, they were like strokes with little puffs, but more looked like little mini mountains on top of the mountains, and in pinks and oranges with little, pieces of gray here and there and little dark brown. And it just was like, it was just such a beautiful view. And my daughter wanted to see it, and she's a little low on the, with the balcony edge. So I picked her up and we were looking, and we looked over to a little further to our right. And this scene was extraordinary. And she goes, "Mommy, it looks like a painting." And I was like, "It sure does." And she goes, "Look over there." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Isn't that wild? It looks like the sky, but it looks like the ocean in the sky." So the way that it looked was like there were mountains and the mountain tops, and then there was like ocean, and then there was um, clouds, but it was all just mountain meeting sky. And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Look, there's a volcano." And she could see this little sort of cloud piece that looked like a volcano coming out. Then she could see this, it was a cloud, but you could see it was like, looked like rocks, and it was really beautiful. And then she said, "See, that looks like little rocks over there, and then there is the ocean." And it was just such a, I mean, I felt so proud because she was seeing it so well, but I also was so, she got such joy out of looking at it and of seeing something new, seeing something new that wasn't necessarily there, but to her eyes and to her experience was there. And using her imagination could see this other image, this other universe, really, this other worldness in this view. I mean, it's a view that you see every day. You could you live here and you see that view every single day, and I'm sure it's beautiful every single day. But if you go into it, you can see new things in that same exact view. And so this is what made me think of it in terms of the listening to Michelle Obama talk about doing something, because the piece between, like, there's a missing link between do something and actually being able to do it, and that is the tools to be able to do it. That is the empowerment and the ability to be able to get up off the couch, or be able to put your sneakers on, or be able to walk up the hill. There is that piece that it can be your choice sometimes, but it also needs to be, if you have things that are stopping you from doing it because you have like somebody who's in your family or your house or somewhere that's saying you can't. And by the way, if you have somebody in your life who is not supportive of whatever dream you're trying to achieve, I'm not saying you should get rid of them, but you should definitely keep them on the periphery and don't let them in as much in this particular area of your life. Because when you're trying to achieve something, like, if you're not with me, you're against me. You kind of need to have that attitude to a certain degree in order to create something that is entirely from your imagination. That is my opinion. But while we are watching this beautiful sunset, and I'm listening to my daughter, and I have kind of Michelle Obama in the back of my head saying, do something. I'm like, that is one of the keys to doing something, is the looking at it in a different way and saying, what does it look like to me? What does it look like to me? Is there a volcano there? Is that an ocean? Because I know in my mind that that's not an ocean, that's the sky. But I see a little bit differently that can be the ocean. So there is the possibility that that can be what I want it to be. That can be going towards what gives me joy, gives me pleasure, that makes me excited to see that. And so it's the same thing with a dream, with doing something that you want. You don't need, I'll go back to it, you don't need your ducks in a row. You need your imagination. You need the ability to say, my life can look different, and I am on my couch, and my life is not what I want it to be, but I don't know what to do next to get up off the couch, what direction to go in, what phone call to make, what person to ask for help, what to Google to figure it out. But if you can look at something slightly differently, like, I'm going to pick up my water bottle a little differently today and see what it feels like. If you make your bed, first of all, if you don't make your bed, I highly recommend it. It's a wonderful, strangely transformative exercise to get your mind and your body doing something that's self-care, that makes your aesthetic and your visual happy when you come back. It's powerful. I've been doing it for like 20 years, and it's a very powerful tool. But if you already do that, put your pillows in a different way. I say this, look at it differently. Try to do something that's slightly different than what you normally do. So if you make breakfast and you're a big breakfast eater, see what it's like to eat something slightly different. Or if you don't eat breakfast, try eating breakfast one morning. Just do something small that changes your day. Take a different route to work. It shifts your paradigm. It's small, but it shifts your paradigm, and it shifts your synapse. So your body starts getting used to the change. It starts getting used to the transformation. You can move forward toward a goal, toward an aim, toward a dream, without having to be entirely 100% prepared at all times before you can even begin. If you wait to do that, starting something will often never happen. And if it does, it becomes too precious. So if you make the wrong turn in the process of moving forward, you can't turn around and say, that was the wrong thing. I got to go this way. I made a mistake. It becomes too big. It becomes too hard to change. It's such a critical, tiny piece to the process of change. And that is the tiny pebble that creates the ripple that pushes your ducks toward where they need to go. Hey, Thanks so much for listening. If you like what you heard, please hit subscribe. Also, if you want to keep in touch, go to Insta at About a Blonde or Facebook at About a Blonde Official. Also, you can sign up for my mailing list at www.aboutablonde.com. Have a great day. Mwah!